Welcome to Business Book Daily, where we pull one useful idea from one business book and turn it into something you can actually use. Today's book is Getting Things Done by David Allen. Allen is a productivity consultant, author, and creator of the Getting Things Done method, a system for organizing commitments so people can work with less stress and more control. Before we get into the book, today's episode is sponsored by CommissionOnly.com. Want to sell more without adding fixed sales salaries? Many companies hire commission-only reps, experienced sellers who get paid only when they produce. Post your opportunity on CommissionOnly.com and get in front of motivated reps who are already looking for performance-based roles. That's CommissionOnly.com. Now back to getting things done. The big idea is simple. Your brain is for thinking, not storage. Most people don't feel overwhelmed because they have one giant problem. They feel overwhelmed because they have dozens of open loops. An email they need to answer, a meeting to prepare for, a client to follow up with, a bill to pay, a task they promised to handle, a project that hasn't been clearly defined, a note they scribbled somewhere that now lives in a drawer like a tiny administrative ghost. Allen's argument is that stress often comes from trying to carry too many unfinished commitments in your head. Your mind keeps reminding you about work, errands, ideas, promises, and problems because it doesn't trust that they're captured anywhere else. So the solution is not just to work harder, it's to build a system your brain can trust. When you capture everything, clarify the next action, organize it into the right place, and review it regularly, you can make better decisions about what to do next. The first concept is capturing everything. The first move is to get every commitment out of your head and into a trusted place. That includes tasks, ideas, projects, reminders, errands, follow-ups, and loose notes. This matters because your brain is not a great task manager. It reminds you about the grocery list during a client call and reminds you about the client call while you're trying to fall asleep. A trusted capture system gives your mind permission to stop juggling everything. The second concept is clarifying the next action. A lot of tasks feel hard because they are not really tasks. They're vague reminders. Fix onboarding is not a task. It's a project wearing a trench coat. Draft 3 changes to the welcome email is a task. Schedule onboarding review with the team is a task. Send the revised timeline to the client is a task. Clear next actions make work easier to start because they remove the hidden decision. You don't have to rethink the whole project every time you look at the list. The third concept is organizing work by where it belongs. Once work is clarified, it needs a clear home. Some items belong on the calendar. Some belong on a next action list. Some are waiting for someone else. Some belong on a project list. Some should go into a someday, maybe list, so they don't clutter today's work. This is where a lot of people go wrong. They keep one giant list filled with urgent tasks, future ideas, random reminders, half projects, and things they might do someday if time, energy, and the laws of physics allow. That kind of list doesn't create clarity, it creates guilt with bullet points. The fourth concept is reviewing the system regularly. A system only works if you trust it, and you only trust it if you keep it current. A regular review helps you update projects, check loose ends, clean up old tasks, and decide what matters now. Without review, even a good system turns into another messy pile. The fifth concept is choosing work based on context, time, energy, and priority. Not every task fits every moment. A 5-minute admin task is different from deep planning. A phone call requires a different setup than writing a proposal. A strategic decision requires different energy than clearing small follow-ups. Better organization helps you choose the right task for the moment instead of grabbing whatever feels loudest. So how do you apply this? Start by creating one trusted capture point for every loose commitment. This could be a task app, notebook, shared project tool, or inbox process. The tool matters less than the habit. Nothing important should live only in someone's head. Next, turn vague work into visible next actions. Replace unclear items like new client process with steps like schedule onboarding review, draft client checklist, or send revised timeline. Clear actions reduce delay. Then organize work by status. Separate active tasks, calendar items, waiting for items, project lists, and future ideas. This helps teams see what needs action now, what depends on someone else, and what should not distract from current priorities. Finally, hold a short weekly review, clean up open loops, update project status, confirm next actions, and remove stale tasks. The goal is not to create a perfect system. The goal is to make work clear enough that people can act without carrying the whole business in their heads. Here are 3 insights worth sharing. First, mental clutter is often just unclear work. Define the next action, and the task gets lighter. Second, your brain is a terrible office manager. Put commitments in a trusted system so your mind can focus on judgment, creativity, and execution. Third, a task list only works when it shows real next actions. Vague reminders create stress by forcing you to rethink the work each time. Getting things done is worth reading if you feel mentally overloaded by tasks, reminders, follow-ups, and unfinished commitments. It's also useful if you lead, manage, sell, create, or operate in a role where missed details and unclear next steps create real problems. You might skip it if you already have a trusted productivity system and want a shorter, more modern habit guide. Today's closing sponsor is MemoirGhostwriting.com. Many of the best business books begin as ideas leaders have been refining for years. Frameworks, philosophies, and lessons learned the hard way. Writing the book forces those ideas into clear form, and once they're on the page, they can travel far beyond a single conversation or presentation. At MemoirGhostwriting.com, we write memoirs and business books for entrepreneurs, founders, executives, and industry experts. We handle the interviews, structure, writing, editing, design, and publishing, so the final product is polished, professional, and built around your voice. If you've ever thought about what a business book could do for your authority, speaking, consulting, lead generation, or legacy, visit MemoirGhostwriting.com. That's it for today's Business Book Daily. One book, one useful idea, and one smarter way to build.